small event happen. That's the thing in even the private sector. Also, now those competitors, those organizers, they don't understand what they are inefficient. So everywhere this happen, even the Colombo University, if you look at the development also, even the organization. For them, the organizers may be the simple matter, 2-3 hours here, of course, 6.5 an hour. So that result ultimately, if you look at macro, the economic picture, the country landed somewhere here. So that's the point. So now the worst case is for human capital, knowledge and ability. Even they don't recognize it also. They don't maybe like to recognize also. That is the nature of human capital, what we have right now. So there are many cases. Maybe the exam, if you collect those cases, it will help you to write a good qualitative answer, or qualitative in the sense case level answers and quality answers also. So with that, I will open the PowerPoint presentation where I did not show you last time because the department, we didn't have a cable to connect the computer to there. So now this is theory of production. There are mainly two books you can refer. One is Walter Nicholson, the microeconomics. The other one is a little mathematics-oriented one, Solarian's intermediate microeconomics. If someone is good in mathematical approach, you can use the advanced microeconomics also. And the other one, I have written a book, Production Theory. So these two books, you can refer and you can get also. And so, like I discussed, the key point in the production theory, the transformation of input into output. The producers in the process have to look at the efficiency. When you use the term efficiency, this is economic efficiency. The economic efficiency has two components, like I already explained last time, lengthy. Technical efficiency and allocative efficiency. The both has to be connected and achieve the economic efficiency. Now, allocative efficiency, like I said already, is cost side is looking at, which means the given output produce the lowest possible cost. Technical efficiency, they're looking at the production side. The point that the output can increase anymore without new inputs or new technology. That's why when I draw the production function, it's on this point with given technology, given resources, and given. Now, producers and the managers, maybe they don't understand into the economic efficiency, they are looking at allocative efficiency, they may think of profit maximization. Rather, profit maximization produces some producers to minimize cost given amount of production. For example, let's say this week, let's say something you want to produce 100 units. In that target, the producer tried to produce this 100 units minimum budget. That's what we call that objective is minimize cost given amount of production. Or maybe some producers try to do maximize production even out of budget, even cost. And maximize output, the given level of production. Now later on you can see the either way. Either you try to minimize or maximize, ultimately producers reached only one point, that is economic efficiency point. The other word they may say the profit maximization, but when you use the word profit maximization in Sri Lankan culture, Sri Lankan content, we can't really address producers. They do this cost minimization and in the proper way. I don't say 100%, but they're closer to 100%. They try to maximize profit, cheating, doing business. In that way, maybe low quality product, they sell high price, or maybe defecting. In that way, only they try to, maybe it's not, now it's become culture, but our system, it create that culture. You can pick up many number of example for that, your own example also. Now, this is the one I show you and we discussed last week and today also. Moving this or shift this production function due to improvement of technology. Yeah, also I discussed the last time with the production function. Of course, we can't estimate production function. That is the theoretical, or maybe we can see in other word as like kind of nirvana situation. Of course, the nirvana also achieved. This also can be achievable. But here, the mathematically, you can't estimate the production function. Two things there. It is production function. One thing is here, stochastic error. Stochastic error means, use the term B, when you run a regression model and data collection, you make mistake as a human error or mathematical mistake. Those capture the stochastic error. The component, because originally, if you don't look at the next component that I use as the U, that is the inefficient component. These two together, someone blindly estimate the production function, knowing that only economic is, they estimate the production frontier, which means production function together, production function together. These are the inputs. These are the beta you estimate. Error term. So we don't get very good and vivid picture about the production or situation about your firm. But we do, this error term include component like explained before. Stochastic error and also inefficient component. That's when you really collect the data, that's what I show. To collect the data, this point somewhere here. We have to address, we have to adjust this error, inefficient part also to reach this one. Together, when you estimate this equation, we have three components: production function, V, this is stochastic error, and U, that is define the inefficiency. last time I introduced, we call stochastic production frontier. Stochastic production frontier. So you can estimate and then you can find the relationship between factors of production and quantity, and also you can identify inefficient or maybe identify reason or factors determine the inefficiency. Then you can increase the solution and you can improve your product. Now, those things we discussed last time. So this production function is input. Study what we take only two input, because when you draw curves, we can use only two axes. But it doesn't mean that there are no other inputs. So inputs must be more than two. It has this table I will explain. You can see here the two inputs, capital and labor. Two inputs, capital and labor. Now, side values in the table or matrix, what we call output. Now here you can see, for example, output in the 64, like 64, all the others also there are 60, 52, many. Now, here, if I say put A, 8.64 produce using labors and 7 capital. So, somebody's doggy. Okay. There's another 64 also, that means using different combination. Put the B using 3 labors and 6 capital, you can produce 64. Other place also you can see 64. There use 6 labors and 3 capital. Now, the problem with us, we having all these points, whatever the value output this inside, technically efficient amount of production. So no word about the inefficiency. The technically, now inefficiency come, for example, I say this is 96. If I put here 64, which means 64 produced using 4 labor, the 8 capital, that is technically inefficiency amount of production. Because instead of 96, your firm produced 64. So the gap due to inefficiency. In this case, the gap is 32. This 32 gap lack production due to inefficiency. Technical inefficiency. Technical inefficiency. The other problem also, you can see there are many combination of input that you can use to produce same amount of production. For example, I pick up the 64. All these 64s are technically efficient amount of production. Now, as a manager, you face a dilemma, you face a problem. Which 64 you go for? Of course, that you have to find the economic efficiency point. So then we have to adhere we have to incorporate here allocative efficiency. Connecting allocative efficiency, you can find exact the combination. Exact amount of labor and capital you can use to produce 64. That way you can find whether you go for A64, B64, C64. Similar thing you can see here 52 also. Here 52 you can produce. Here also 52. Here also 52. Here also 52. Here also 52. All these combinations, all the 54, 52s are critically efficient amount of production. Critically efficient amount of production. So the smart manager and not just arbitrarily randomly 52, match with allocated efficiency, the economic efficiency 0.5. It could be the one. So that's the difficulties we are facing. Find the economic efficiency, merging both technical efficiency and the allocative efficiency. Now, when you do make the decision such a way, managers or producers take decision short run and the long run. Short run about the given capital, given size of the firm. Long run, size also change. In the long run, no fixed capital, no fixed input. No fixed input. Now, to understand the short run and the long run quickly, it's not about the calendar date, month, week, or years. Of course, it is, but depend on the industry. Now, some industries, for example, shipping, building, airline, those kind of industries, not airline, plane. The short run, it goes maybe 6-7 years, even more. Some industries, for example, let's say you have a beta hit and run businesses, or maybe along the road, Kandakada, or maybe communication center. For them, maybe 2 hours, maybe long run. Or short run, 2 hours, and then long run, because within 2 hours, everything they can change. Then everything become variable. Now, when you take the decision, short run and the long run, the economic, theoretically, the short run, we look in productivity. Looking at the fact productivity, mainly connect to labor, but it's not necessary. For example, if you take the labor productivity, optimal amount of productivity or maximum productivity, there we take the decision short run. So the productivity then in the connect to short run is the fixed capital. Otherwise, you can't measure, because I show some of the theses also, the masters, and they name the productivity, they didn't consider the long run situation and measure productivity. Because with the long run, with the new technology, new capital, productivity also change. The same amount of labor. When you come to the long run, to make the decision theory apply, called return to scale. Return to scale. It means in the size of the scale. About that, talk about. For example, micro business to small, medium, large, and big like that. It change about the size. Return to scale. If you simply look at return per dollar each stage. Return per dollar. Yeah. We use here two words. One is return to scale, other one is economics of scale. You must understand the difference of these two also. Both of them related to the long run decision, economic scale and return to scale. Different here, return to scale, we looking at production side. Economic scale, we looking from side. So that is the thing. Now, later on we will discuss, but the return to scale, just an introduction, we have three stages. Increase in return to scale, increase in return to scale, usually happen in the early stage in the firm, like micro, large, micro, small businesses. Then constant return to scale, and increase in return to scale, a decrease in return to scale. These three. Now the cost side also we took these stages, but they use different name. The increase in stages return to scale happened. The cost side is the economics of scale. The economics of scale. Which means if someone familiar, the long run average cost curve, this point A, the negative slope continuously reduce their economic scale. That in the production side, if you draw the production, happen, increase in return to scale. So the production increase. If you look at average production. The decrease in return to scale start from here. They are the diseconomic scale. The cost may analyze diseconomic scale. That happens when the decrease in return to stage, decrease in return to decrease return to scale happen. You see the connection between these two we will discuss later on. Here the maximum point, that is the constant return to scale. The cost side coming to the minimum point, that is the minimum efficient scale. Minimum efficient scale. You see the connection between the cost side and the production, these three stages, and of course we discuss detail later on. So here to understand the short run and the long run, and the short run apply the factor productivity, long run about the return to scale, this concept. Now further look at the short run situation, this production function again, sorry, production table again. So I capital one side, other side labor. So keeping constant amount of capital, fixed amount of capital, A equal 4. For example, just imagine you have a firm, you have a 4 machine, or you have a bus company, you have 4 buses, or you have a land, you have 4 acres. You're as a farmer. So what you do, given this, you add labor to it. We take only labor here, other input also you can take, add labor. When you add labor 1 to 2, 3 like that, this is the way along the blue line, increase or change the output. In the output. Now the problem for economics, how many number of labors in this table, if you look at, how many number of labors you would recruit in order to optimal productivity, get the optimal, let's say, profit or revenue or production. Either 2 labor, or 5 labor, or maybe more. So we have to decide. Why we have to decide it carefully? Because all the 24, 39, 52, 60, 67, 33, or whatever, 73, 79, 85, everything. Technically efficient amount of production. So one can't say I pick up the 5 labors because that is the only efficient amount of production technically. No. 60 also, when you use the 4 labor also, technically efficient. Now you tell me, in that case, if it is short run, you send a message. If you are the economist of a firm or manager, how many number of labors you recruit? How many units of labor you recruit? Can you send a message? Okay. Look like no. No one can. Now, the best exercise right now, I give you maybe with the 2 minutes. What you have to do is graph, this side the labor, this side the output. The blue line picks here, starting with the labor 0 and up to 8. Map here, take this blue line. And there you tell me, mark in here, where you decide to recruit, how many number of laborers you plan to recruit. That message I'll get maybe after 1 minute, then I will continue. Hopefully you have done. And now this is the short run situation try to explain. We will discuss later on further. And the next table, you can see the moving the red line here change in both inputs. That is about the long run situation. 1 to the ratio can be changed, but the both, that is the long run. So the long run, this particular firms, technically efficient production, others are also efficient. But if you take only this particular combination, moving 4, 18, 41, 60, 75, 90, like that. Now, someone tell me, looking at this, then if you are the producer, if you are the manager, which combination you go for? Taking this red line, and how many units of output you produce? 75, 60, 41. So that is the challenge. It's not an arbitrary answer. If someone can arbitrarily say this amount produced, but this create a economic inefficiency. Though these are technical efficient. Yeah, we will look at it again the long run, and in the decision we have to look at the concept called return to scale. Like previous short run, the factor productivity. With that, I'll come back. When you look at the decision, the producers take the decision, the production is take place, diminishing return state. So that there's a law, we apply that law of diminishing marginal return. So we'll discuss those things using this graph, this table. Now this table is about the short run situation. Why I say short run? Here the labor increase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 13. But the capital remain constant at 20. Keeping capital 20, this line, the column show the output starting 240, 720, 1380, like that. What you have to do, properly draw graph here. This side is the labor, this side the output total. This value put and draw this graph. You have to do by yourself. After that, find the average product. Average product find is not typical. What you have to do, and this column there, average product. So how to find average product? For example, second one, 720 divided by 2. So you get the average product. And next one, 1380 divided by 3, like that, you get the average product. So here, underneath, average product, you fix here, like that. It's called average product. Then after that, find the marginal product. To find the marginal product, change of total product, delta dP divided by delta, that's change of labor. In this case, always 1, change is 1. In that way, numerate always 1. Change in output you can find here. With that, find the marginal product also, each case. That curve you draw here, again the down, and see the relationship marginal product, average product, and the total product. For that, I'll give you about, maybe you need to calculation about, and take to someone break also 10 minutes. 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, so I will look at, 10 minutes means 2, 5. So I have to find the average product, marginal product, and you have to draw these curves. After you find, Tell me these places, amount of labor, the A point, with the maximum here coming, B point, and here I'll put the C point, amount of labor, B, A, C point, send me and check me. Then I will look at least if you send 1 or 2, and I will start. The amount of labor is 8 point, B, A, and C. So with that, I'll give a break. We will continue after the break. done, so this is the graph maybe you already did, and the shape of the graph, the total, the production, and this is the point what I asked. I start the diminishing return, which means up to this point, the short run, when you increase the labor, production, total production increasing rate. After that, it's still increase, but decreasing rate. The other point, diminishing return start. And here the point, the maximum output rate place. Combining all the three curves, now here the diminishing return start. So the point B, and here the total production become maximum, the marginal product, 0. That's the point here. The marginal product here, the black one, is the down graph. It's a slope of the total product. Here you can slope 0. That's why here is. Another important point is here. Here, it's a marginal product go through the maximum point of the average product. You see, it's a beautiful relationship between these curves. Beautiful relationship. One here, the average product equal the marginal product reach maximum point of average product. So, which means the marginal product always go through average product is the maximum point. Be careful when you do the curve next time. It has to go maximum point, not the other way. Now, another relationship you can find, the marginal product is greater than the average product, then average product is rising. In other words, the average product increasing, the positive slope here, this marginal product is greater than average product. The third point in the relationship in the average product is decreasing. So we are at this point, this area, the marginal product is less than the average product. The other thing also from this total product is maximum reach. Here, there the marginal product becomes so. Yeah. So this relationship, I used to ask the exam question, usually the first question. And you have to draw and you have to show this one. And also later on, I will show today how to prove it using algebra. Before that, based on this relationship, in the short run, we can identify the 3 stages of production. Short run, we can identify 3 stages of production. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So there you should be able to identify the boundaries given the production function. Here, when you identify boundary here, the 2 ways you can identify boundaries. So one way, looking at this relationship here, For example, here the boundary, first and second, two ways here also again. Average product is the maximum point we find, or maybe if you take the average product equal the marginal product also, you get that point. Here the boundary second and between second and third stage, very easy, the marginal product become 0, you can find the boundaries. You can find the boundaries. The way to find the boundaries, what we have to look at the elasticity. Label elasticity, I will show it quickly. Before that, now look at here, the marginal product is negative, not the negative slope. Still, value is negative from this third degree, which means that if you recruit additional labor, his contribution to total production become negative. Definitely rational, except in the public sector office, the rational producer don't recruit that stage labor. For example, if the labor value here 22, this particular example more than 22, the short run, the particular producer does not employ workers. Here, the stage 1, if you look at, simply if you say the fixed capital is underutilized. Why this stage? You can see always marginal product is greater than the average product and the marginal product increasing. So in that stage, as a producer, you continue with the recruitment and come to the second stage. In that stage, the short term, the optimal amount of labor recruitment between 20 to 10. The exact amount, whether it's 14, whether it's 20 or between this exact amount to find, we have to look at the allocative efficiency. For that, we need the prices of inputs as well as the output price and also the cost. With those information with hand, we can find the exact point where we recruit, whether 11, whether even 10 or 22, and between any value, number of labors recruitment we can find. So, any question? Okay, well done. Now, this relationship, I go to a whiteboard. So I'm going to show this relationship again. Now what we found, the average product curve, this is the average product of labor. Any other thing also you can get, but here it is the labor. If you go here, the marginal product curve goes like that. Now here, did you find the average product? How did you find the average product? Average product of labor is the total product divided by, so that's how you find this equation. How to find the marginal product? You differentiate the total product with respect labor, you get the marginal product of labor. Marginal product of labor. You know, and we can do also, given production function. Now, the equation I rearrange, I rewrite here like this. U equal AP L, L. I rearrange and equation number 2 I wrote based on the equation number 1. There you can see the Q equal to two component. The one is the here average product. The other one is L. Now here the average product also you can see here. So it's a function of, which means the average product also like the total product and also like marginal product is a function of L. So when you differentiate here to get the marginal product, so get the marginal product, you have to differentiate here Q with respect L. So here, since the function, you have to apply the chain rule because the average product also function of L, then the answer come in AP L. You can see here also L, then the plus L, APL, divide by subject to differentiate L. Now here, the marginal product, what you got is marginal product equal average product plus L, the slope of the average product. This is the, we say this component is the slope of the average product. Here, what is the slope of the average product? Average product curve differentiate with expert. Now look at the slope is equal to 0. First one, let's say this is equal to 0. Which means we are talking about this point A. The other slope equal to 0. Now we look at that slope equal to 0. Automatically we get the result of the marginal product equal average product. So that you can see from the graph. Select from here because this becomes 0, the marginal product also. So that is the point here apply. Now second point, let's say average product slope average product, I am preparing this one, the positive. We are talking about this range, positive slope average product. Now look at this is positive figure. This is also positive. In that case, the marginal product must be greater than the average product in the second stage. Because this is positive, this is also positive. Definitely marginal product must be the average product. Third one, let's say this slope is negative. This slope is negative. If that happens, we are talking about this range. This range, the marginal product must be less than average product. Only that case bring this relationship again. We can see these three stages using this marginal product and average product. You can show the relationship using algebra. The exam, you should be able to do that. Otherwise, you won't get full mark, just explain and the drawing graph. So that's the thing. Then Now we can explain this relationship using the, like I mentioned before, labor, elasticity of labor. Let me look at the epsilon L. I stand for the output elasticity of labor to measure W Q over W L, that is the slope of the production function, multiply L Q. Now this part we did before, marginal the product of labor. This part, the marginal product of labor. Everybody can understand because the production curve differentiates with respect. This part, L divided by Q, the reciprocal of the average product, which means 1 divided by average product of labor. Look at that. Average product equal Q divided by L. Then L divided by Q must be 1 divided by APL. L divided by Q like that. Now here I fix again with this value, the epsilon L become MPL by 1 divided by 8. So that we can rewrite MPL divided by APL. Now look at the graph and draw it the graph again, what we did. And the average product of labor. And this is the marginal product of labor. Now look at the elasticity and try to figure out this relationship. I'll give you 1 minute, then after that we'll explain. Look at these elasticity figures and try to figure out, measure elasticities in different places. Place A, that's a boundary. B, that is another boundary. And also stage 1. And here stage 2. And stage 3. Elasticity. Fine. I'll give 1 minute just to you can find the value and fix here. Then I will continue. Now, what I asked you to figure out the output labor elasticity in these stages. For example, point A, if you look at the marginal product equal point A, the marginal product equal average product here. So in that way, if both equal, the elasticity become equal to 1. So which means the point here, elasticity become 1. Now here, the stage 1, you can see the marginal product is greater above the other average product. Is stage 1, marginal product is greater than average product. The result, the elasticity is greater than 1 because this numerator is greater than the numerator. This velocity. Now look at the point B here. Point B here. Marginal product 0, which means the numerator is a 0. Whatever number the marginal product is 0. Whatever number the numerator, the AP, ultimately you get the elasticity equal 0. So that's the result at this point. Now here, stage 3, I'll come back to second stage later on. Stage 3, the marginal product negative, average product positive. So in that case, result, the marginal product is negative. The average product positive, result, the labor elasticity become negative. So there, labor elasticity become negative. Now look at the stage. There, the marginal product is less than average product. Result, the elasticity less than 1. Less than 1. Because the average product greater compared to marginal product result. And also greater than 0, because it's not 0. Between 0 and 1, here this range, the elasticity you get between 1 and 0. And now look at to figure out this relationship and how producers behave. The short run in these three different stages. Now first start with the third stage. The elasticity is negative. What does mean? The stage elasticity is negative. What does mean? For example, if we increase labor by 1%, labor unit by 1%, the result what happened? Output decrease. That's why the negative show some percentage. For example, if you minus 1.2, the elasticity output decreased by 1.2. 1.2. So that is the happen things in the third stage. So in that understanding, you see no rational producer practically they make the decision that third stage. Third stage. Why? Because if a percentage increase in the result, the output decrease. So no rational is doing producing except, like I mentioned, the public sector places. Now we'll turn to stage 1. There you can see the positive greater than 1 elasticity, which means, for example, the elasticity is 1 point, not negative, the positive 1.2. When labor increase 1%, result output increased by 1.2%. So in that way, the producers are happy. They continue recruitment, the stage 1. Continue recruitment, stage 1. So stage 1 also, no practical decision making happen. Short-term labor recruitment. Stage 3 also not happen. So definitely then we have to see like the second stage. There the elasticity you can see in between 1 and 0. Which means the second stage, the short run producers take the decision and they are producers technically efficient to find out exact case in the second stage. For example, let's say here 12, here 16. How many number of workers in the second stage, the optimal level recruit, we need additional information related to allocative efficiency. Allocative efficiency. There are input prices, output prices, and mainly the cost of production. Those align the allocative efficiency, we can the exact amount of labor short run we have to recruit in order to get the optimal result. Optimal result. Now, these two things, what I discussed, this elasticity and the previously relationship between the marginal production and average production, maybe the exam, the first question, explanatory question may come. So when you do, you have to show this graphically and this algebra using measure and describe also 3 ways. If you do in only 2 ways, usually this 5 marks question, you get 3 marks. If one way you mix it, you lost 2 marks. So that you have to understand and to be careful. Now, with that, again, look just quickly what we discuss here. The 3 stages using in elasticity concept, we saw that the producers take the decision in this second stage. And there, also you can see the diminishing the marginal return. What does it mean? Diminishing marginal return stage. The marginal production reducing, decreasing. That's what we call diminishing marginal return. So the producers take the decision diminishing marginal return stage. That's not the increasing, not the negative margin. You must understand. Why the producers, if you look at the practical in the layman word, why they don't take the decision stage through 3? Because that fixed input is not good, not enough capacity to absorb the labor. Now, some public sector officers, you can say the clerk level job, so even the graduate also some time back, you may be still division secretaries or places, more than the capacity level. Even some time back, we noticed that especially the Hambantota areas division secretary, no place to sit. I visited some places those days. I saw they are outside the building also, not in a space. So recruit more than enough because the fixed capital not. If you look at the stage, the fixed input underutilized. Underutilized. It's something like in Sri Lanka situation, you have two buses, public transport, and only two driver and one conductor. But the developed countries, of course, both things are doing the same person. But here, they look at that. In the third stage, like that, you have one bus, you have three drivers and three conductors. So the second stage, the optimal point, like I have mentioned, we need allocative efficiency, but this happen. Second stage, improve the productivity using specialization and teamwork. Specialization and teamwork continue to great result or great output when the additional X is used. That's the point. When additional X is still get great result, but the specialization and teamwork. And these two, again, the problematic in Sri Lanka. Maybe you can buy the specialization. Within your group, members specialize and good. But in Sri Lankan culture, the working culture, we don't see the teamwork. Maybe our management faculty, they don't teach, they don't train, or we don't have the teamwork. Maybe you can say, no, this guy is selling something wrong. We have teamwork, we work a team at our office, but you don't know even. Within the teamwork, it's a culture create, like you approach personally at night, or maybe you call your boss or some others, say against your team members. Maybe because of your next promotion, or maybe because of you want to sign up. Some places you can see, maybe we discussed something, and some point, even though you feel that, I mean, you wrong, some members, they don't point it out. Maybe one reason we have a culture, kind of boss kind of culture. In that culture, the subordinator, they are peer of the bosses. They don't like to express their ideas. The other thing also, they think maybe giving these ideas, the team leader or someone, they be sign up, they get only the important. This kind of culture we have. In that way, I mean, that's a different thing. But I want to say the second stage is the one, the short-term producers take the decision. That's why the last point today, when you look at this production function, first try draw only this shape of the site. If you look at the production function, I show you, and the last time also I draw only the practical data collection available this part. The other part, like from the beginning, this shape and the downward, not the real world situation. All the producers and rationale and behave such way. So that's the thing. With that, I'll stop today. If you have any questions, any clarification, please ask me. And I will continue this discussion next week. And here, how to take the decision, especially long run, we will continue this discussion. And so with that, I'll stop. And if you have any question, I can wait another 1 minute. So, and also these are the textbook again, because always you ask what are the textbook and things also, you can get that. It looks like no questions, then I'll stop this point. I have questions because I talk with mute. I don't know how long I talk like that. Nobody tell me. I noticed just now. Okay. So I think I talk a lot after mute. Since nobody told, I don't know where. So see you next week. Next week I will continue how producers take the decision, short run quickly, then the long run things we will discuss. So bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.